Chris Daley here. And as always, it's a delight to come to you. And tonight, as always, we have the nick of finding Jamaicans doing great things, making great impact. And tonight we have Melvin Pennant, AKA MAP, one of Jamaica's hardest hitting cultural DJ and author. He stands above the crowd with his approach, his lyrics, his content. He is a class above. He wants to do some great things. And we're here this evening to enter into conversation with him to give you a sight into his heart. So for leaning carefully because we have an important voice for you to listen to. So Janice, take it away.
Well, thanks, Chris. So, Melvin, welcome.
Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? Chris, respect, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your Jamaican roots.
What's to say? Born, raised, grown, love Jamaica, won't leave Jamaica anytime soon. I was born originally in Clarendon. I'm currently living in Kingston, St. Andrew.
Okay.
I was born in Clarendon, grew up in Clarendon, and both mom and dad are from Clarendon. Everybody from it, basically from Clarendon.
So everybody is a Clarendon person.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Clarendonian.
So Clarendonian. All right.
We have some other greats from Clarendon.
Okay.
Freddie McGregor, Tootsie Birds.
Yes, sir.
You know, a whole host.
All operates in Clarendon, right?
No, All Harbor is actually in St. Catherine, but it's on the border.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Who was the biggest influence in your formative years?
My grand uncle, still alive, Diego, taught me valuable lessons. My dad too, to some extent. They taught me how to be a man at the age of 9, 10. You know, and I continue to keep those values that was distributed to me by them. So in my early years, I'm one of those guys who were lucky enough or fortunate enough to have two role models that I really look up to.
Yeah, especially a male.
Yeah.
People just don't know how critical it is for a young man to have an influential, positive adult male in their life, you know? None of this other kind of lifestyle. Prominent men, strong black men must be take care of or have some kind of influence in children. What were some of the critical milestones that allowed you to arrive at your current destination?
Okay, so as you guys know, I'm an author and a musician. I grew up pretty much with my grandmother as well. You cannot live in Miss Jane, God rest her soul, bless. You cannot live in Miss Jane house and don't go to Sunday school. So
That's with most Jamaican households.
Actually, that trajectory kind of changed now. You know, a lot of these youngsters don't even go Sunday school again. They're born with a choice. Those days we had no choice.
No choice.
I'm hearing 5-year-old kids telling their mom that they don't feel like going to church today.
Wow. No, that wouldn't even come out of nobody in my household.
In our time, that's a no-no. You gotta go.
No, I love your book. I must say, it's the timing, the title of the book, In My Time, and the topics that you deal with. It's very contemporary. You know, when you talk about so many topics. And what I like about your book is that it's only 200 pages, so it's a quick read, really. You know, and then it's like it touches what it needs to touch, and then moves on to something else. And I think that's because of the era that we live, where we don't have time. So this one is definitely it takes up your time, but it doesn't take. It takes up your time, but it doesn't take up your time. I don't know what else to say. How are you using your craft and talent to further Jamaican possibilities?
Okay, so interestingly, I just came back from India in March. I went to do a communications course and a few link ups and some business venture. And I had the opportunity to do a few little short stints of performance there. And
Mm-hmm.
when I recognized that this thing called music, you know, I knew it was powerful all along because music means come from the Greek word muse, for you to think, to
Mm-hmm.
penetrate deeply, you know. And I'm in this country, and billions of people, and I'm singing, I'm DJing. They don't know the language that much, but here the people rocking, sing along with me, and
Touching, yeah.
you know, it just speaks volume. And I'm trying to promote worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica is one of the toughest place to break out as an artist. Why I say that is that the pool is so vast and varied. There are so many
Mm-hmm.
talented people here, and
Yeah.
the space is crowded. You know,
Mm-hmm.
luckily for me, I am not one of the regulars per se. Well, I'm from the old school type of DJing. So I like my thing to remain authentic, and I'm trying now to find new ways of promoting but keep the authenticity. Because like I said, the pool is so clogged
So
up.
vast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to
And that's
find
what,
niche markets and ways to
right.
get around, you know, and that's what we're currently trying to, you know, put the brand
Move
out there
on to
some
that.
more and try new methods of promoting.
And that's why you see so many Jamaicans leaving because when you go into the diaspora, you're able to create a niche for yourself. But you also have to go back to Jamaica to kind of refresh your well. I don't know. Yeah,
That's
give like a
beauty.
water, and you
That's
got to go back to the well to refresh.
that's the
I
beauty. That's the beauty of Jamaica. There is something. Bob Marley have a song that says, "There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. It is as
yes.
real as daylight." There's just
Mm-hmm.
something about this island, this country. When you're here, a lot of even the international artists, you might not see them performing in Jamaica, but they spend a lot of time here. They come here, they record here, and they tour.
Mm-hmm.
Like the older guys, previous like Burning Spears and stuff like that, before they pass on, they'll tell you you don't see them. Pulse, those guys, they're here. They come here, rejuvenate
Mm-hmm.
themselves, write, record, but they're on the world scene. Sometimes you don't even hear about them in Jamaica. Sometimes their songs are hardly being played in Jamaica, but they're touring. But they come home to replenish, rejuvenate themselves, and go back out. So there's just this vibe that Jamaica offers that no other country offers when you're a
Offers.
musician.
True,
Yeah.
true. But when you were in India, I hope you got a chance to experience Bollywood and learn some of those techniques and bring it back here so we can create a jam wood.
Actually,
Or have
there's something in the pipeline. I don't want to give away too much. There's something in the pipeline. I actually started writing a particular song when I was on the plane, a 30
uh-huh.
time. But I didn't get to experience Bollywood because I spent most of my time in Delhi, the capital. I,
Okay.
I I only really connect in Mumbai, so I didn't get to Bollywood or stuff. But I'll share some clips with you at a later date where
Oh,
I
nice.
experience a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But
So
something is
what
in the pipeline.
Yeah, well, that's good. You must always travel and learn. And that's how what do you call it? Ear hustle. You eye
Yeah.
hustle and ear hustle, and then you can create a little thing for yourself. What are the top three concerns you have about Jamaica's cultural life? Because you did touch on that in the book, and I was like, yeah, this is resonating with me. And I know your audience, and I know the audience, when they read your book, buy it and read it, they're going to appreciate it. So give us a little chups.
All right. Unfortunately, we have lost that level of respect that we once had.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I grew up rural Jamaica, and 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Before I go to high school, I can remember that you don't pass an adult on the streets without saying good morning or good evening, sir. It was a small
Mm-hmm.
farming village, mind you, which expanded over a period of time. Many political representatives come from that side and love there. And that level of mannerism was there amongst all the youth. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
youngsters, if you're out there smoking, when you see an adult, you put that aside.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
the Rastafarians respected churchgoers and Christian believers. They had that level of respect for them. You know, the kids, they don't swear. They don't swear in front of an adult. No,
Mm-hmm.
that has changed. That has
Mm-hmm.
drastically.
And
You know,
what I'm concerned about is the TikTok, where I'm seeing a lot of the stuff. I see it on TikTok, and people are even saying, "My God, these kids are getting out of hand, even in their uniform. A uniform that's something that's to be revered, and they're going out of pocket in their uniform." So yeah, I do. I see that. You know, who
yeah.
are the players you're encouraged to move the needle in a positive way? Turn this around.
You know, um, when you say this, a lot of people get very defensive, and the reality is that they don't understand their role, they don't understand the tool, they don't understand the power, and that is what irks me about some of the musicians. They don't
Mm-hmm.
understand. You could spend millions of dollars on your children, go to primary school, high school, universities, but their biggest teachers are their influencers, and the biggest
Exactly.
influencers we have are musicians. You can't get around that. There's no if, but, or maybe. That the biggest teachers, the biggest influencers are the musicians. And sadly, my point is a lot of these musicians don't even know that they are what they are. They are the teachers. You know, if
Well,
you give,
I think they know but what they're doing is that they have to fulfill the need of the corporate, because think of lovers rock and all these things from, same, I guess, my mom's era. And when I was in the womb, you never heard the things that you hear coming out of these singers. You just wouldn't hear it.
yeah,
And now that's all changed. A lot of it has to do with the corporates. They want bust, so they feel, oh, that's too soft. That's too soft. That they're being hardcore. And you see that not just with reggae music, but you see that with rap too. Because a
mhm.
lot of people don't realize that rap music really came out in the 70s, 80s. You never heard that. You heard Black Man Lift Yourself Up,
Yeah.
or You're an African Queen, I Respect You. But
But I'm
now
gonna
it's
tell you something.
bitch ho, Molly, and all them things. And what's frightening to me is that, when you juxtapose that to, say, dance hall, a lot of the slackness is coming in dancehall. Not so much reggae, but definitely dancehall. Or do you feel differently about that?
All right. A little bit. There's a little bit of truth in what you're saying, or revelation in a sense, but it happened back then. Let me tell you what happened. The musicians back then were very creative. Like, for instance, the Trinidadian music, you have calypso and you have soca.
Mm-hmm.
Calypso and soca is the same thing. They're talking about sex, but they were a little bit more creative with it. Lord Sparrows and
Yes,
Byron Lee and the Dragonets, they were a little bit more
more double
creative.
entendre.
Right, so they weren't so the innuendos, little sexual innuendos was always in the music, was always there. So back to reggae and dancehall now, it was always there. I don't want to wait in vain. From a little cottage in the grill, I write these lines to you. So it was always there, those little innuendos and sex, but no, the challenge is now it is so raw and blatant, and nobody has no respect. And one of the biggest challenge we're having is that back then you used to have men as radio disc jocks. Men. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
talking in terms of age. I am talking in terms of morality and standard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
standard. You used to have men. Now, I'm mostly boy on radio. So what happened is that they're editing and they're taking their time. So the artists go as raw as possible. And these guys are trying to bring it in mainstream. Just like that. And so the population is getting a little bit more there's an avenue created for the population to hear the more raucousness, because remember dancehall, the word dancehall was really, the music was confined in a space. Yeah, it was confined in the dance hall, right? That's how you get dancehall music. So the rawness and the the explicitness of the lyrics was always there, but it was confined. The challenge, they bring that into mainstream, and they don't, when they bring it into mainstream, they don't come with the wittiness, the ways and means of kind of, you know, cloaking the language. They just come out raw with it. And then the proponents, the disc jocks, the radio disc jocks, the announcers, they are bringing it as it is, with a little beep and a little mute and stuff like that, but people already know. And then now it's just flooded the airwaves. It's just flooded. It's just flooded the streets. If you pass 10 shops, you hear the music blaring. So it's now pretty much accepted. So children going to school, they pass the bar.
Yeah, they just internalize it and they don't even know. But what can the average person do to lend to a more positive Jamaica? What can the average person do? Because you pointed out these things in your book, and I'm just saying, you know, we've touched on the music part. What do you think we could do?
Start respecting themselves again. I don't think it's beyond us to start respecting ourselves, because you see, if you respect yourself, then you're going to start respecting others, and you're going to start thinking about what you're teaching. You're going to start thinking about your legacy. Let me show you. Let me find. I can't leave the music because it's the roots. Back to the music. In the 90s, you have 50 DJs. Today, you have 1,000 DJs. And every day you hear a new artist, and then 2-3 months after, you don't hear them again. Right now, in New York or some other places, I've never been to London, so I can't speak for London, but in New York, there are some places in Atlanta. When these guys are promoting a show, it is still the 90s dancehall I hear playing. Hardly, when I travel, I hardly hear some of these new artists. I'm still hearing the Beanie Mans. I'm still hearing the Bounty Killers. I'm still hearing the Frisco Kids. I'm still hearing the Dukes Ranks. You understand? Because the music, lewdness was there, but it was more controlled, and they are still the ones that have the bigger market listening, the bigger market share out there. That's why these guys are still touring. That's why a lot of the 90s dancehall artists are still touring. Today, 5 artists rise up, and out of the 5 artists this week, you probably hear about 2 in another 2 months, and then 1 will survive and continue throughout. You know? So
it's interesting you talk about they're still from touring. You know, what would you say to the Jamaican diaspora? Maybe, I mean, I that's not necessarily the case, but maybe it's because from that era. Say for me, the music I prefer to listen to, it's the stuff that I was listening to when I was in high school or college, you know? And I mean, and which is the Beanie Man era. So I'm not saying that the other groups don't have a chance, but if I'm going to turn on my radio, it's kind of clicked to the 90s era. You see what I'm saying? Well, what would you what do you say to the diaspora, the Jamaicans in the diaspora? Listen to the old school or try something new?
No, nothing is wrong with newness. There's the things are renewed every day. But you see, the challenge that they're probably having is they're faced with quantity over quality, and it should be the vice versa. It should be quality over quantity. And music back then is still better. Now you have something called trap dancehall, and a lot of the artists are not even hardcore on it, they're more a sing J type thing. So
Mm-hmm.
back in my era, and the era I'm still in, is that you used to have the sing Js and you also have the DJs. Now
Mm-hmm.
everybody sounds like the same thing. Everybody sound, the lyrical construct is the same, and that's okay. You know, they're trying to let this crossover thing, and it is okay. You know,
Okay. And then for my I have a wide variety of people listen. So what is the difference between the Sing J and the DJ?
DJs are more hardcore lyrical content. A lot of the guys who are DJing now, they are singing, so that's why I call them sing J, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the difference. I don't sing. I am not blessed to sing. I don't have that nice melodic
But
voice, you know.
you are blessed to have a wonderful book that just that kept that's brought my attention to you. So you're blessed in that, in
Yeah, man. No,
your
I
writing
understand.
skills.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. So what I'm saying is that for me, I'm just penning this song the other day because somebody did something to me, and I was never one of those DJs to be, the lyrical confrontation kind of thing. I've always
Mm-hmm.
shied away from that.
Clash. They
You
call
know,
it clash.
yeah, and nothing is wrong with that. You know, Busta Rhymes and Jay-Z clashed in their formative
Mm-hmm.
years. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And then they both became pioneers. You know, and Busta Rhymes have Jamaican roots, by the way. You know,
Yeah, I know.
they're
Yeah.
from Jamaica, all right? You know,
Yeah.
so nothing is wrong with clashing because that's a part of the culture. That's a part of, we we Prince and Michael Jackson used to clash in their own their own.
Unique way.
So
Yeah.
it does a lot of marketing. It does great for your marketing, you know. So nothing is wrong
Mm-hmm.
with that. Where it goes south or sour is when it becomes disrespectful. Like when Admiral Bailey, Tiger, and Papa San were clashing at Sting and Jam World back then, people were DJing and lyrics was flowing to and fro. Even with the late Merciless, when he pretty much done Bounty Killer, Beenie Man, and Ninja Man all in one night. I mean, I love Bounty and DJ, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
He did
done all
Merciless.
three major top artists in one night. DJ, get them time, talk, sing, DJ, and stuff. Now, Clash now is almost like a war, literally fist throwing on stage, you know, and that is
Yes.
destroying the music, and
That's
you don't recognize that, you know. So,
yeah.
so yeah, but we straight from the original question, which is the singers and DJs, but DJs are more hardcore hitting, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and singers are more melodic and singing and stuff. Yeah.
Being such a Renaissance man, what do we expect from you in the near future? You've got this wonderful book that we definitely want everyone to purchase. So what do we expect from you?
Okay, so I'm working. I did a short story, and entered
Mm-hmm.
it 2 years ago in JCDC writing competition. I won a merit award. I am currently working on the book format now, so
Mm-hmm.
that should be out before probably before October. I'm working on releasing it before October. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Jizoba and the Baby's Quest, talking about two runaway slaves. So again, connect to Jamaican roots, two runaway
Uh-huh.
slaves, from the
Well,
plantation.
we'll have to invite you back to talk about that once that's in its when you're
Once it's
done with the
published.
creative process.
Yeah.
So complete this statement. Jamaica will be better in 5 years because
Because I exist and I will continue to teach and help my people to govern themselves, because the challenges we have lost government, and government means self-governance. Back in the days, when God said, Adam, take charge and multiply, if Adam just stayed connected to the truth and the roots, and govern rather than acquiesce to another being that was in the garden, then we wouldn't be having so much problem. So if we take self-control, because that's what self-governance really is, self-control. If I can control myself not to disrespect you, if I can control my tongue You know, small part of the body, but massive in terms of direction and instruction. You know, if I can respect you, if I can have self-control, then I can go further and I can enhance you by me being in control of myself. And that's what I
Yes.
challenge. A lot of people don't have self-control. So if we can get that back into our people, self-control, self-respect, self-motivation, you know, then we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. There's hope.
So how can folks appreciate your music and your influence, especially with this book, In My Time? You chose that title because it's definitely relevant to the topics you hit on. It's definitely relevant. Yes.
Yeah. And the title says it's all in my time. So I
Mm-hmm.
much write about what I have seen, what I have experienced, my traveling,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my cultural exchanges here and there, you know. In fact, I did it a little different when I went to India the other day. I'll be going to China soon too.
Wow.
India, I did a video blog instead of a written instead of a written thing. I actually did a little documentary. I'm going to share it with you as well. You know,
Nice.
and I did that. But Melvin Pennant contact is there at Map Music Instagram, at Melvin Pennant YouTube, at Map Official YouTube, Twitter. You know, Melvin Pennant Facebook.
You've got you've got it all wrapped up in the social media sphere. So any closing statements?
I want to see the day when my people are elevated to the position they really ought to be, which is on top. Because Jamaicans top the world in music, we top the world in sports, we top the world in culture, you know.
And
And
yes, we're very creative. And you said that you've never been to the UK, but I can tell you, when you go there in the Black community, well, the Caribbean, because the two prominent groups, it's in terms of Black people, are the Africans and the Caribbeans. And when it comes down to the Caribbean, Jamaica all the way. Trust me, I'm telling you. You know, they even have some social media, you know, like how you do the vlogger thing.
yes,
People point those things out and it blows you away. So we really appreciate you spending time with us. Folks, this book is relevant. It's a quick read. It tells you about, it hits the bullet points of where Jamaica is, where it should go. And you'll be, if you're a fast reader, it'll take you within a week. If you're a quick reader, it'll take you less than 5 days. Trust me when I tell you that. Okay, so to learn more about Jamaican Diaspora, visit JamaicanDiaspora.com. To learn more about Chris Daley, visit ChrisDaley360.com. Melvin Pennant is on all the social media things, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You can't go wrong. Melvin, thank you so much for
big up,
spending some time with us. Bye
big up,
now.
big up, big up.